What's good, guys? So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly what I eat in a day after losing 120 pounds and how for the last 7 days, well, I guess 8 days if you want to be super technical about it, I've been able to lock in really hard and lose just about under maybe 9.5 pounds within the last 8 days. A lot of you guys do not understand the concept of water weight, debloating, and just food in your gut when you're losing weight initially. So thought I'd make this video. Might as well run you through it and basically show you how it's done. All right, I hope you guys are ready because this video is packed with a lot of information. I'm just going to kind of go over it briefly before we get started. One, I'm going to be I can barely talk, but going over all the different diets and my thoughts on different diets and approaches. Two, the meals, of course, what I eat in a day. That's what this is. Three, how I got Chris to lose over 20 pounds in 3 months. Four, different exercises and how to actually have correct form and the actual science behind each of them. And I'm going to have Chris explain it on what I taught him and basically show you how much knowledge he's actually gained since joining the program. And through that, we're just going to do basically what I do in a day besides that. But yeah, hope you enjoy and let's get started. All right, so first things first, it's actually, camera's kind of low here, but maybe I'm just super tall, but it's only, wait, I should actually fix this. In my opinion, for me to lose weight, fasting is a lot easier and my gut feels a lot better and I feel a lot less bloated when I'm fasting. Now, I'm not saying everyone should fast, but I'm saying it's definitely not a bad idea. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to being in a deficit. So if you're in a deficit, no matter what, even if you're not fasting, you're gonna lose weight, which is what a lot of people don't understand. They try a bunch of stupid diets and they're like, why is it not working? Maybe it's because you're eating too much. So, no matter what diet you're doing, if you're not in a deficit, you're obviously not going to see the results you want to see. So, stop trying the easy stuff and do what actually works. For the last week, I've been super, super locked in. And on Hawaii, if you guys don't know, I went to Hawaii. And the last few days, I got really, really chopped there. And I was eating so much shit. And I just got super, super bloated, super, super fat. And the entire summer, I was struggling so much with actual binge eating. It was so hard on my mental, Whenever I'm in a super, super depressive state or just struggling a lot with my mental health, it always comes down to finding a sort of comfort, you know? So that's part of the main reason why I got all the way up to 175 pounds again. And through that, I'm glad I'm able to show you how easy it is to lose 20 pounds within 90 days. Because if you really put your mind to it, I know you can lose 20 pounds within 90 days. Not a problem at all. So what I'm trying to say here is you can't try and numb your problems, okay? We all have shit we go through in our life. We all have things that make us uncomfortable. We all have times where we're depressed, sad, or you just have a lot on our plate, okay? But when those times come, you can't numb it. You're supposed to feel that, right? That's a part of what's making you the person you're meant to become, okay? And I've been through so many different things in my own life, and I've experienced so many different things, especially going from 270 to 140, that it kind of makes me realize that everything forges me to who I need to become. So whenever you feel those pains, that depression, that just anything you're feeling, do not try to numb it because it's building you to who you're meant to become. Okay? Of course, you're not going to be sad forever. You're not going to feel that way forever. But you can't numb it because part of feeling that, part of going through those challenges is what needs to be done in order to actually become the person you want to be. Because if you can keep the promises you make to yourself, if you can become a man of your word and know you do what you say you are going to do, that is where real confidence comes from. I don't care how much weight you lose. If you do not stick to what you say, you will never have true confidence. That is why so many people lack confidence because they never do what they say they're going to do. If you can't be confident in your word, if you cannot be confident in your word, then you will not be confident in the things around you. You will not be confident in what needs to be done. You won't be confident with girls. You won't be confident at work. You won't be confident in any aspect of your life if you do not understand what it means to keep your word. 120 calories, but raw honey plus banana give you fructose, fast carbs that top off glycogen, so you've got energy to actually push harder in the workouts. These, if I don't have these two, I'll make sure to have banana and honey or some sort of carb source. Like sometimes I'll do cereal, but right now I'm trying to stay relatively whole foods. Like this protein powder, I know it's technically not a whole food, but it's the cleanest protein powder that I can find in Canada. And then we got kiwi. I love eating the skin on the kiwi, but essentially with the kiwi, it's just vitamin C, potassium to support muscle contraction and actual recovery. And the protein powder, it's just good to get your protein in. But there are some studies that show that with the protein powder, even like a little bit can start protein. There's some research that shows that protein. Okay, well, then I add a scoop of protein powder for amino acids, and some research does show that even a little bit of protein can trigger protein synthesis a bit earlier, so essentially faster recovery. These kiwis, they taste like, it's so weird. It tastes like a popsicle. I don't know why, but most kiwis do not taste like this. So it's kind of, I like it, man. That was the raw honey, protein powder, and this is around an hour and a half before my workout. But sometimes I do it an hour before, but it depends on your actual digestion too. Some people have a bit of a better digestion than others, so you'll notice that it won't affect your workout too much. That's not chocolate milk. And banana. But I'm working out with one of my homeboys that I actually had him in my coaching program too, and holy shit is he lean, bro. Like, got him fucking shredded for the summer, and now we're like, bro, we are so locked in. I love to see that shit, bro. I'm glad that it's like I said earlier, like just seeing, like, especially the people around you too. Like if you see someone close to you, like, actually, oh holy shit, it's banana. But when you see people actually do what they're gonna say and actually do it in their life, it just, you can see the confidence radiate off them. It's just, I love to see it. We're gonna work out with him today, and yeah, it's pretty good. I'm glad that I could actually help him through it, but I gotta eat this Winky Dinky banana. This guy took a million years getting ready and ready for the camera.
Winter fits going.
Bro,
what's good?
I'm wearing shorts. Okay, so now we're at the gym. We're going to be testing Christopher today, and basically we're going to be running him through each of the exercises. So I'm going to demonstrate the exercise. Chris is actually going to explain why we're doing it and why you should do it and how you can actually implement it into your own lifts. And essentially, he's just going to be kind of going over what he's learned in the program in terms of actual muscle building and technique. You ready, Chris?
Ready.
We're locked.
So for the next exercise, we're going to be performing some lat rows performed in the sagittal plane. And this is just a little something Touch taught me, and I'm going to run you guys through it.
All right, let's see it. You want to go first or me?
Here you go.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
It's always good to have an outside looking in perspective, because sometimes even when you're doing your own form, it's hard to fully evaluate what you're doing mid-set because there's just a lot of things going on through your head. That's why a lot of people have different coaches. Why even like bodybuilders or powerlifters, they have coaches to evaluate them, to actually push them through to make sure everything's tracked. Because it's always good to have an outside looking in perspective, even if it's just a friend, like to just have you making sure you're doing everything you can. First, we're just gonna warm up. I'm not gonna use the straps because it's just warm up right now. But
okay, so for the setup, notice how his spine is not being flexed, or neither his scapula. He's rounding over the pad, and he's just pulling with his elbows low to his elbow to hips. He's pretty much just extending that humerus to get that lat activation. You don't want much activation from your elbow flexors, your traps, or your erectors. Pretty much just isolating those lats.
a lot of people mess up because a lot of people go either way too heavy or not heavy enough to actually get the best benefits out of it. Because the biggest factor, 9 times out of 10, is your mind. How corny did that sound?
Essentially, without the core involvedness, don't let your working set, look like shit.
So, yeah, especially if you don't have a coach, just work out with a friend you have, and just see if they can give you an outside looking in perspective. Because an outside looking in perspective in anything is why the people actually succeed. And no matter what you're doing, if you have someone to actually evaluate you and just give you any form of feedback, as long as they know what they're doing, it's a game changer. All right, it's Chris's turn now. He's doing his actual working set. Here we go.
Listening to
David Martinez.
that Cyberpunk soundtrack for extra motor unit recruitment.
Get away, get away. Oh, easy. Notice how in every rep, his form stays exactly the same. Even on his last rep,
Extra
the
intensity.
technique is still on point. Okay, so basically for a lot of these sets, I'm gonna have my homeboy basically explain it in depth while I'm doing the movements, just so you guys can kind of see like what I've taught him so far, what he's learned through this coaching, and he's able to articulate his words a lot better than I am. Because if you've noticed, I'm always mumbling my words a little bit, but yeah, he does not mumble like I. Am I right? All right.
I mumble. All right, so what we're doing now is just a regular tricep extension, but with a long head bias. The reason why it's a long head bias is because we're keeping our shoulder, a little more extended position for the long head. It works all three, but it just gets that long head right.
Lacombe warm up.
Oh, he's doing the schizo reps. Oh my! Increased motor unit recruitment.
Did I tell you how I told my physio that?
Yeah.
Bro, physio approves.
Yeah, physio approves, of course, bro. SBL is real. SBL is short for science-based lifting, by the way.
While I do this, you want to explain bilateral deficiency?
Okay, pretty much. Bilateral deficit means that your body has to distribute pretty much a signal to both of your arms. So think of a stream flowing. Performing an exercise bilaterally, which is both arms, pretty much splits it into two. I mean, it doesn't affect it a whole bunch, but basically performing an exercise unilaterally does increase motor unit recruitment, giving you a little bit more of an effective stimulus. You can just focus on each at a time, causing more growth. But each of these sets does count as one set and does add up to fatigue. So you gotta watch out for that fatigue.
Deadass. If you are short on time though,
do not recommend maximizing unilateral movements.
Yeah, dude. If you maximize unilateral movements, sometimes we're here for like 1.5 to 3 hours. So if you're more on a time crush, bro. See, I can't speak. If you're more on a time crunch,
just
bilateral movements. Yeah, but you gotta do what works for your schedule. That's what I always say. So that's why I don't just sure, I can give you exactly what to do, but if I don't actually know your situation, I don't know your schedule, it's hard for you to actually implement what I do in my life because it's a bit different than your life. No life is exactly the same.
Tap in, guys.
Okay, bro. Look how when he does it, look how he's bracing this little, I don't know what this shit is called, but he's bracing onto this metal thing. He's wrapping around with his leg. He's keeping himself more stable, having more MUR, making it a lot easier for him to actually get the most out of his lift.
Oh,
one more.
Fatigue monster might have got me, but we're gonna fight him.
Psychology. It's all in your mind, bro. Oh, it worked. It worked.
Arasaka to the top, baby.
All right, boys. So this is probably going to be the last movement we're showing you today because my phone is almost out of storage, and gotta record the rest of the vlog today. So we have like 3 or 4 more exercise, now like 5 more exercise. So I'm just gonna show you guys the hammer curls real quick, and we'll get back to you in the car after this set, pretty much. Now with hammer curls, there's not really much for me to explain here. It's pretty basic. You can't really go wrong with hammer curls unless you're shrugging a lot. So just make sure like any other movement, you're just controlling it well. And I'm using the wraps here so it's less tension on my forearms. I was reading a lot of the comments, and a lot of you guys limit who you become just because you're not putting in a lot of the same work that other people put in. So a lot of you guys will track calories for like a day. You're not tracking your lifts, you're not tracking your macronutrients, and you're not even being accurate in tracking your calories, and you complain when you don't see results, and you expect everything overnight. If you expect everything overnight like that shit, you are never going to get the results you want to see. You are always going to be in the same cycle. And I hate to say it, those people in the comments saying that they can't lose X amount of weight in X amount of months, they are genuinely not trying hard enough. They say they're trying hard enough, but they're not putting in the right inputs. They're not tracking their macros. They're not tracking their training. They're not tracking their cardio. They're not hitting their steps. They're not tracking their sleep. If you are not doing all those things combined and actually putting everything you can into what you want to achieve, then of course you're not going to see the results you want to see. So that's why those people who are always complaining in the comments that they don't see the results that they want to see within that time, that's why they never actually make the change. And I'm no motivational speaker, but that's just some true shit. I give out all these free resources all the time, and then 10 months later, I get a little text from the same people, and they're like, "Oh, can you help me lose weight?" I'm like, "Dude, I gave you a full guide on how to actually do it." And they're like, "Yeah, I read it, but I never did it." Never be one of those people who just absorbs all this information without taking any action in your life, because that's how you end up the same.
All right, so post-workout, we pretty much just went over everything that I learned from Karch, performing each exercise with proper execution and everything like that, performing all the cues well, doing standardized range of motion. And yeah, so pretty much.
But the workouts, okay, so you were like sick for the last week, right?
Yeah.
And
I was pretty weak.
My sleep was messed up, so that's not an excuse. We still showed up anyways. We still like put in all the effort we could.
Yep.
No matter what, everyone has excuses, but at the end of the day, if you're putting your all into something, then you're one step closer to your goal. Because imagine if we didn't work out today just because we're tired or just because we were sick for the last week.
Yeah, man. Strength loss is strength that needs to be regained and built better.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, okay, so you were in my coaching program. Yeah. What were your thoughts on it?
So pretty much, like, my focus, because I started off really skinny, I just wanted to like bulk, because that was pretty much the propaganda that was being fed on social media. Like, yo, bulk up, you're gonna gain all this muscle. But what I like recently learned is that your body builds muscle very slowly, and it only really grows when you give it the stimulus and you progress. And I didn't know that at the beginning, so I just like, my goal was just to bulk, and I like put on so much unnecessary fat. And so when I went to Karch, I was like, hey man, like, I'm really skeptical, hesitant to get in this cut. I just really didn't have the mindset for it. And with him just, keeping me accountable, literally walking me through everything that I needed to do, helped me get rid of my fear in cutting. Because I started off skinny. I didn't want to cut and go back to being skinny, that would have sucked. And that was what I was afraid of. So he really just was my coach. He's outside looking in. He was giving me all the information that I needed. And, all I had to do was just execute it. So, yeah.
Now, just to add on that, like, a lot of people, they don't understand how to properly cut. And they just end up either, one, never cutting because they're afraid, or two, they just end up getting super skinny, losing all their muscle mass. Because half the people, they just fucking starve themselves, which is not the right approach. And now, when you're actually doing your cut, you have to realize that you have to be so meticulous with everything you're doing, every single input, like I said at the gym. Because if you're not meticulous with it, of course you're not going to see the results you want to see. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a very fine process,
to
say the least. It's very easy to just like eat a lot and gain weight, but actually like, hammering your body to lose weight, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of time.
Exactly. And what would you say, like, is the biggest thing you learned throughout the coaching program, in your opinion?
Honestly, what I learned most was nutrition is very important. Like, the importance of nutrition, even the components of your diet, getting at least 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight, prioritizing carbs so you can get good energy for your workouts. Even fats, it's good for,
Your hormones.
hormones, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else other than hormones, but yeah, fats are like really good
And
to
in terms
have.
of actual hypertrophy and just being in the gym in general, what do you think is the biggest thing you learned in your opinion?
Honestly, like dialing in my training as well. And so pretty much what Karch helped me do was build a very solid fundamental structure in training. And once we established those fundamentals, pretty much what we did was look at small, fine details that we could do, and we improved it pretty much by improving our execution, our form, and exercise selection, really getting as high quality stimulus as we could once we finally established those fundamentals. And another thing is my schedule. Karj helped me with that because he pretty much helped me build a system where I could just consistently show up in the gym and make results. Because building systems is the only way you can actually get to your goal. Like building systems is pretty much the vehicle that takes you to your goals. And yeah,
I think that's what a lot of people don't understand too. Like, you see, like all these people, they're always.
I think that's my family right there.
Oh, is it actually?
All right, let's keep recording.
You see all these workout plans that they get millions of views and they get a ton of saves, and like basically exactly how to lose weight and how to actually create a plan, or they give you a plan. But the thing is, it gets like a million saves, but 99% of people never really apply it and they never end up hitting their goals because they don't know how to actually systemize it to themselves. And if you end up staying like that, if you don't end up changing your ways and actually finding a way to fit it best into your life, of course you're not going to see your goals. Oh, shoot. And
All right,
left
what
turn is
else?
mine. And what would you say to
Oh,
anyone
the
wanting
keys.
to join the program, in your opinion?
I would say that if you're honestly you've tried before and you haven't gotten the results that you were looking for, honestly, bro, Karch is the guy that you should go to. Pretty much, like, you need someone there for you, walking each step with you in the journey, and someone who is going to give you the blocks to build yourself up. Pretty much, he will give you the tools that you need, and you can take that and you can make it your own. So pretty much, like, he'll give you help, but he'll also make it personalized for you.
This is where we part ways. We're gonna live tomorrow,
Catch y'all later.
but I gotta get up. I gotta get back to work.
Get back to work, baby.
Yeah, it's time to do another coaching call once I get home. And yeah, I probably won't eat until dinner time, but we'll get there. All right, guys, so this is my check-in call with Christine. We just wrapped it up.
Hi.
So wait, Christine, you're down how much weight within the last month and a half?
8 pounds.
Down 8 pounds. That's what I like to hear. See, this is what happens. Like I was mentioning earlier in the vlog, the more work you put in, the more metrics you track, the better results you'll see. So take some reference from Christine because she's one of the hardest working clients in the program, and that's why she sees the best quality results. So super proud. Let's keep it up. Okay, so this is my check-in call with Sebastian. So how much weight have you lost in the last month and a half?
Lost around like 11 pounds.
So he's lost 11 pounds, and he's one of the most dialed in, hardest workers that I've seen so far. Like him, Christine, and Pedro, they're the hardest working, they're the hardest workers. So that's why they see the most results in what they do. And what would you say to anyone who like kind of wants to join the program?
Honestly, I would say like, please do, because this is the first time in my life where I've actually stuck to a consistent plan and I've seen results faster than anything else I've ever tried before. It's insane. Like I'm seeing new veins that I've never seen before. I mean, it's exciting. Even the meal plans, like I feel good to be consistent on them, keep it simple. The workouts themselves, I really enjoy them. They're exactly what I need to go into the gym, get a good workout, and go out happy. I would say definitely, join. I think it's definitely one of the best decisions I've made in as far as my fitness. goes, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody, honestly.
Dude, I'm really glad you feel that way, and I'm glad of the progress we've made so far, and I'm excited for the next few months, bro. Let's dial in. But yeah, this is Sebastian, and this was our check-in call. But all right, so 2 out of 5 check-in calls done. Dude, just after seeing, like, talking to Sebastian and Christine, like, that is why I like to do what I do. That is why I post all these transformation videos. That is why I give all these free resources. That's why I also do the one-on-one coaching, because especially from the one-on-one coaching, I love to see it so much. I love to see the progress that my clients make. I love to see how much they actually put into the results they want to get. And I love being with them, like, just every step of the way to actually make the approach good. And dude, like, just hopping off the call with Sebastian, like, it's such a good feeling, like, going from 270 pounds, going all the way down to 140, and then, like, where I am right now, like, just being able to actually do that for myself, and then being able to help other people achieve their goals. That's literally why I do this, and I'm so glad to see when, like, my clients are putting in the work and actually getting the results, because they are doing everything they can, and I'm doing everything I can to get them to where they want to be. So, it's just such a good feeling. But I have 3 more calls. They're newer clients, so I don't usually put the newer clients under the spotlight. So I'll get back to you at around dinner time, and I'll show you what I eat for dinner on my cut. All right, so I'm done 3 out of 5 of the calls now, and I'm just going on a walk. I forgot about the vlog for a second, but I'm going on a walk. I've been walking for like the past, I don't know, between the second call, after the second call, I went on a walk. After the third call, walking again, and I'm already at 10,000 steps, and I usually aim for around 10 to 15,000. If I have a little bit more time, then I'll go for the 15,000. Now I have a little bit more time, so I'm gonna aim for 15,000 steps. So what's good, guys? So today we just got Osvaldo into the program. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited, honestly.
Yes, sir. That's what I like to hear. Bro, I can't speak. We're just so excited, but I'm excited to get you the results, and I'm excited to lock in. Let's kill it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
of course. All right. So, like I said, egg whites, extra lean ground beef, already weighed out. Okay, good thing it defrosted. 3 eggs, and I'm not having this tortilla anymore because I kind of like the bread a bit more. Like, I can get 4 slices of bread or 2 tortillas. Kind of want 4 slices of bread, but I'll show you how I kind of cook it here. Same thing every night. So you get your 0-cal cooking spray. It's not actually 0 calories, so I log it as around 90 to 150 calories total, just to make sure I'm still in my deficit. And my sister's recording this, and she is laughing right now because I'm locked in and she's not. Here, let me show you how it's done. So essentially, ground beef. Some of you guys do not know how to cook ground beef. Like, it's crazy how many of you guys in the comments are like, dude, how do I cook my ground beef? It's pretty simple. You get a hot pan, okay, hot pan. Put that in. It's gonna be pretty loud, and I'm probably going to have to turn the fan on, but you get that. You pat it down, right? And what you want is you want that kind of browning, that little crust on the bottom, okay? So I usually like mine a little bit like crispy on the bottom. My mom says it's burnt when I do that, but that's the way I like it. That's the way I cook it. That's the way I eat it. And what you want to do from there is get your seasoning. I got this one. I don't know what it is. It's from Popeye Supplements. If you're from Canada, you'll probably know what that is. But it says bacon lovers, and I kind of like bacon, so I wanted to try it, and it tastes pretty good. The sodium here is 35 milligrams, so I'm still under my intake to actually make sure I'm deep-loaded and not super. But essentially, I do that. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little chef. Even though it's just ground beef that some people somehow don't know how to cook. The eggs and the egg whites. So just pour that in there. But if you are actually trying to stay consistent on your cut, if you're actually trying to lose weight, eating the same thing every day and food that you actually enjoy, I know it seems crazy that I actually enjoy this, but eating food that you actually enjoy is going to make your deficit a lot easier because you don't have to overthink a lot of things. So that's why I recommend to anyone, if you can, eat the same thing every day. But of course, some people might find it boring, so that's why it's important to kind of have the same thing week to week. And when changes need to be made, implement the changes. But the right kind of diet is a diet you can actually sustain long run. So that's why with this, it's easy for me. Okay, now as you can see, it's done. And it seems like a lot of food. That's because it is, but I am still in a deficit. And I'll actually put the macros right there. But this is the best approach, in my opinion, for myself. Of course, everyone's different in terms of structure. That's why you need to implement a structure that works well for you. That's why I don't just give like some cookie cutter program to any of my clients. I make sure it's 100% personalized to them and actually can get them to where they want to be. Because if I just gave the same thing to everyone, then obviously it's not going to work, because every single person is different in their approach. Every different person is different in the problems they face when they're trying to lose weight, when they're trying to build muscle, when they want to actually get to their goals. They face different obstacles. So that's why for me, I found the big obstacle used to be binge eating, right? So what I do is I have low calorie, high volume food, so like the egg whites, and I just incorporate it into my dinner, right? And I save a lot of my calories for actual dinner time, because I like to eat a lot at night and I like to go to bed not super hungry. And I found it mitigates my binge eating a lot. So that is what works well for me. The whole thing is that you don't want to copy someone exactly, because what works for someone else might not work for you if it doesn't account for your daily struggles, your daily stress, what job you have, how many courses you're taking. Because if you are not implementing the right material, the right programming into your own daily structure, you're not going to see the results you want to see. So that's why I do it this way. Of course, you don't have to do it the same way I do, but I'll give this meal a try. Like, try if you want. Try this meal plan for one day. See how you feel, because it is pretty good. I can't lie. I've had some clients who have had similar struggles, try structure similar based on the foods they like, and they all say they like this method. So if binge eating is a big struggle, I would try this, because it is one of the many things that did help me and helped others. But yeah, I just love eating a lot of food in one sitting, especially if I'm losing weight while doing it. Why would I not do that? What I want you to take away from this video is, sure, I lost 10 pounds within 8 days, but not all of that was fat, of course. Based on my calculations on the actual deficit I was in, it was probably only around 3 to 4 pounds of fat and 6 pounds of mostly water weight and just debloating and getting rid of all that excess food in my stomach. So of course, it's not just fat loss. You're not going to lose that amount of weight within a short period. So do not just look for the easy way, because people who look just for the easy way, how to lose weight quick, how to lose weight within X amount of days, they never see the results. You have to actually figure out why you want to change and the kind of person you want to become. Because if you don't know that why, you're not going to hit your goals, right? If you don't know why you want to actually lose weight, you're not going to be driven to actually do what it takes. Because sure, this makes losing weight easier for me, but it doesn't mean I don't have to work out. It doesn't mean I don't have to do cardio. It doesn't mean I'm not tracking my calories. It doesn't mean I'm not tracking my macronutrients. Those are all still things that need to be taken into account, right? So make sure you are doing everything you can, but not comparing yourself to other people's progress. Because if you are doing every little thing and making daily progress, you're already winning, okay? So don't compare your journey to anyone else's, because the amount of effort it took me to actually fully debloat, the first few days of me stopping my binge cycles, it was not easy, right? Many people, they're not going to do it. Many people didn't believe it because it seems unrealistic to them. But what's an unrealistic transformation, an unrealistic anything that seems unrealistic that someone did just proves that it's possible, right? You shouldn't be going into things thinking, oh, this is so unrealistic. It should be, man, how can I get closer to what I want to be based on this? Or, wow, this showed me that it is possible. You should never go into anything thinking that you can't do it or limit yourself based on what other people see. If you see someone say, oh yeah, no, that's not possible because of this, that's not possible because of that, that's not possible because of this, you're never going to do anything because you're listening too much to what other people are saying around you. All right, boys, that's the end of today's video. I hope it helped, and comment what kind of video you want to see next and what videos would help you the most. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching like Chris was and how he was able to lose 20 pounds within 3 months and don't want to guess anymore, DM me YT on Instagram and I'll see if you're a good fit to work with one-on-one. But besides that, have a good one and stay locked in.